I'm back after doing more research about the mine shutdown, the quartz mine shutdown at Spruce Pine, North Carolina due to Hurricane Helene. In my video yesterday, I talked about it a little bit in detail and what it kind of means to the semiconductor industry, but I wanted to dive a little bit deeper into it to some things that I didn't understand, so I have a better understanding about it. And that's kind of my goal, is to learn about it and share what I'm finding. And so I wanted to dive into this idea of quartz crucibles and what it is that makes this quartz mine so important in the semiconductor industry, and why it's a big deal. So what I wasn't sure about is how this quartz plays into the process of the semiconductor industry. And so it's not producing a component that's used in manufacturing. It's actually used to create a tool, if you will, in the process that is very necessary for the latest applications. And so what a quartz crucible is basically, for lack of a better term, like a cup that's used to heat up and create silicone ingots, basically a bar of silicone that can then be sliced very thinly into silicone wafers that are then used in things like smartphones and computers and chips and solar cells for your solar panels. So it is actually quite a big deal because these crucibles, or these cups, can withstand very high temperatures, about 1200 degrees Celsius. I'm having a hard time kind of figuring out what their lifespan really is. And I don't know if they do last a long time, or if the issue is that there's more and more demand for them, which I believe there is, because I would imagine that more manufacturing plants are switching over to this latest and greatest technology, which means that they probably can't just switch back to older technology, probably for a number of reasons, but mainly, who knows where that equipment is, or, if they can still do it, if they remember the processes and protocols. Who knows? And the other thing that I was discovering is there's about a 3-month supply, it looks like, across different manufacturers that are using these crucibles. They feel like they have enough to last them 3 months. So that tells me that the lifespan of the crucibles is probably not very long. They're probably using them so much also. It's not like it's getting used just a few times a day, right? So that's concerning, that there's only a few months supply. It's beginning of October. We could see some impacts, by the end of the year, maybe not till beginning of next year. Obviously, all these manufacturers are probably going to start putting in a lot of processes in place to try to extend the life of the crucibles that they have. I mean, really at this point, I'm just kind of trying to use some logic here of how this could play out, right? Manufacturers are going to try and extend the life of their existing crucibles and make them last as long as they can. It's definitely going to be interesting. The mine is very dependent on the city of Spruce Pine and the roads in and out. You also have the fact that the production of the quartz crucibles actually happens overseas, I think in Norway. So you're gonna have some shipping involved. I did hear something about some shipping strikes or something going on. I don't know if that has anything to do with this. That's something else for me to follow up on. They could get them to the dock and not be able to get them to Norway. Who knows? So not trying to, fear monger, but just trying to learn what I can about this situation, because I just don't see a lot of people talking about this or putting a whole lot of deep thought into this. They're saying 70% of the world's supply of the quartz crucibles comes out of this mine. Sounds like a big deal to me, considering that we rely so heavily on technology, chips. AI is just adding more and more chip usage, and we are very heavily dependent on computer chips. There's other things for me to follow up on. There was a fire at the mine in 2008 that affected the market. I want to try and figure out what was the impact then. What happened? How close is this? I mentioned there's probably going to be some toxic cleanup required. I would be surprised if there's not, considering they've had 6 contamination violations over like the last decade. So there's a lot of interesting stuff to unfold and unpack here, and I'm gonna keep digging into it and try to post new information every day as I'm learning, and just try to dig into this and hopefully inform you correctly as best I can with the information that's out there. And if there's anybody close to the information, love to hear from you. We can get on here and talk about it. It'd be pretty cool. But really, curious how this is going to go, hoping for the best, and follow for more details.